Hello, everyone. My name is Aderonke Akinjobi. I'm a student of John Wesley School of Leadership, Carolina University. Today, I'm going to be speaking on a topic exploring organizational theories, evaluating current research trends, and identifying areas of continuous study. For this presentation, I have chosen the topic or the theory ethical leadership. So, ethical leadership has to do with leadership that builds respect, builds community, manifests honesty, shows justice, and serve others. In the course of my presentation, I'll be going through the following outline: introduction, I'll analyze recent research, current trends in research, and I will also talk about research gaps and areas of further research. Introduction. Ethical leadership, like I said before, has to do with leadership that builds community, shows fairness, and leads by example. And when I say lead by example, I mean a leader that is ethical himself or herself. So ethical concerns are of significance in any industry. All organizations are worried about ethics, and this concern has been driven by several business scandals that has built the awareness that businesses should not only benefit stakeholders, it should also benefit the customers and the employees. Because of these incidences, the community or society frowns at unethical practices, and unethical leadership definitely leads to unethical problems that impairs performance and the reputation of the organization. Ethical leaders are individuals who demonstrate a high level of ethical values characterized by fairness, justice, honesty, trustworthy, and genuineness. Ethical leaders create a work environment with high moral standards and they mentor staff members, thereby creating a positive organizational climate or environment where employees can thrive and then businesses can also do well. So, ethical concern for ethical leadership has raised a lot of researches, and several scholars have also talked about ethical leadership not being distinct from other related leadership constructs, meaning that they've found elements of ethical leadership in leadership styles like transformational leaders, authentic leaders. However, theoretical evidence suggests that ethical leadership is distinct and deserves focused research despite it being compatible with other leadership styles. So I'm going to be reviewing three articles. The first article is Consequences of Ethical Leadership with the Mediating Role of Self-Efficacy and Workplace Climate. Uh, the findings from this research indicate that ethical leadership positively influences job performance, self-efficacy, and work climate, which acts as a mediator for job performance and work climate has a direct impact on safety compliance. For this research, social learning theory was the theoretical framework, and the methodology was quantitative. A sample size of 500 participants was used, and the data analysis was conducted using a statistical analysis. And then one of the gaps that was found in this research is that he focused on just the SME in Pakistan. And recommendations for further study is that there could be a comparative study looking at other sectors, and also the studies could extend this model to study in other service sectors. Also, further research could also look at demographic factors and see how they affect ethical leadership in organization. The second article is unpacking the paradoxical impact of ethical leadership on employees, on ethical pro-organizational behavior. And the finding of this research, it actually contradicts the hypothesis and demos the usual positive link of ethical leadership. This research finding shows that in some instances, ethical leadership can lead to unethical pro-organizational behavior among employees. And so it's important, to also look at other areas of research for further studies, like looking at cross-cultural research to validate the concept of ethical leadership, and also looking at the impact of ethical leadership on diverse culture. In this research, it was also a quantitative research. The theory was social cognitive theory, and the sample size was 515, and the data analysis was also a statistical analysis. The third article is Do the Right Thing the Right Way, How Ethical Leaders Increase Employees' Creative Performance. This research finding supports other findings of other scholars that there is a positive connection between self-efficacy and employee leadership and employee creative job performance. The mediating factor in this research is self-efficacy and job autonomy. And then the theory was motivated information processing theory. It's also a quantitative research, and the sample size was 342. And then the data analysis was also a statistical analysis. The limitation for this research was that it was just, the focus of the research was just ethical leadership as a sole antecedent. Then recommendation for other studies is to look at different samples from other countries, meaning that it was country study could be carried out, and also a, uh, another cultural setting to look at the impact this will have on leadership. Comparing the three ethical leadership research, one will see that the first article positively links ethical leadership with performance, but of course it was limited to SME in Karachi, which is Pakistan. And then the theory used was a social learning theory. The second article also reveals, contrary to the first article that talks about a positive link, this one actually shows that in some instances, ethical leadership can increase unethical pro-organizational behavior. And this study was limited to, it was specific to nurses. So that limits its generalizability. It can be generalized. And then the third article talks about a positive connection between ethical leadership and employee creative job performance. And it was based on the motivated information processing theory. So looking at it, considering the three research, the common strength of the three research is all of the researches, the three researches used robust quantitative design. Then they had strong theoretical groundwork or framework. And then the sample size was actually large. However, the common gaps amongst the three is that the research was limited in geographical or location and also sector. It didn't cut across so many sectors. And also they were all focused on ethical leadership being a single variable. So comparing the three articles here, we could see the main focus, the theory, the methodology, the data analysis, their unique contribution, and then their research strength. So going through research and going through many literatures, the current trends in research of ethical leadership is one, positive impact. So there are several studies that shows that ethical leadership enhance employee innovation, creativity, and commitment. Also, there are other researches that support or that demonstrate that ethical leadership would lead to unethical organizational behavior. Then there are also researches that shows that in a time of crisis, ethical leadership is able to maintain performance and ethical standards in organization. Also, there are also growing interest in sustainability focus, showing that ethical leadership drives sustainable business practices. Generally, the research gap that has been identified through literature talks about the limited studies across culture and also across organizational context or sector. Also, there is a need to research the long-term effect of ethical leadership in the long run. Is it still going to be positive, or would it result in some negative outcome for organizations? Also, There's insufficient understanding of the underlying mechanism that links ethical leadership to employee behavior. Research has really not shown exactly how ethical leadership impacts employee behavior. Also, there's lack of clarity on factors that influence effectiveness of ethical leadership. What are the other factors that can lead uh, um, to the success of ethical leadership in organizations? So areas of further research that I identified are one, cross-cultural studies. So there's a need to look at ethical leadership across many cultures. Also, to also look at the sustained effects in the long run. How does ethical leadership impact organizational outcomes? And also to look at the psychological and social processes through which ethical leadership influence employee behavior. In conclusion, generally, it is believed that ethical leadership remains a vital area of study with both positive impacts and, of course, complex challenges. Ethical leadership also fosters positive workplace ethics, guide employee conduct, and supports organization. Thus, addressing identified research gaps will enhance the understanding and application of ethical leadership in organization setting, which of course will benefit all stakeholders, meaning the employees, the customers, and then the society as a whole. Thank you for listening. These are my references for my research. Thank you.